This episode of Inside the Game is powered by MSI Gaming. The game just got real. Head to our website at insidethegame.ca for all the details. What's up, everybody? We are Inside the Game, and today we're at Ubisoft Montreal talking with Adam and Leroy about Rainbow Six Siege. PlayStation VR has been around now in the market for a little bit, but the new patent just released by Let's Go Digital found that there's something else in the works for Sony. This new PlayStation VR has two cameras on the face fronting, one on the back and one on the Move controller. Quite interesting to see where this could go. We know we all have these new iterations of the latest Oculus, so kind of PlayStation VR is a little bit outdated now in a sense. So definitely curious to see where this goes, and hopefully we get a new iteration of the PlayStation VR because we are overdue now at this point. Let's see if we get something with the PlayStation 5.
So after nearly 20 years, the corporate vice president of Xbox, Mikey Berra, is announcing that he's leaving the company. It's one of the last few recognizable faces in the Microsoft company, and it's just one of those things where we're starting to wonder what's going on here. But he's come to announce on Twitter that he's moving on to some bigger and better things, and he's staying in the gaming community, and he's going to be teasing a little bit more later. So in his tweet, he stated, "After 20 years at Microsoft, it's time for my next adventure. It's been a great ride at Xbox, and the future is bright. Thanks to everyone at Team Xbox. I'm incredibly proud of what we accomplished, and I wish you the best." In his tenure at Microsoft, Ibarra served in many leadership positions: General Manager of Xbox Live, Xbox Partner Studios Manager, Corporate Vice President of Program Management at Xbox, are all roles that led to him oversee Xbox Live. And after his announcement on Twitter, Mikey Berra received a ton of support from Phil Spencer and other Xbox top heads, and so we're just going to give him our best as well and hope that he brings us some really exciting stuff in the future.
You remember Far Cry 3 and that really awesome DLC, Blood Dragon? Well, Ubisoft has just announced that they're partnering with the Castlevania creator to bring a new animated series out. This one is called Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon vibe. So in addition to Captain Laserhawk, they've also announced that they're going to be doing a kind of family-friendly Rayman series, and they're also going to do a kind of cyber mystery based on Watch Dogs. It's going to be a little bit different, but they also wanted to announce that they haven't forgotten about The Division. They've actually doubled down production on it, and Jake Gyllenhaal is going to star.
Far Cry 3.
IO Interactive just released the Haven DLC for Hitman, but did you know they're working on a new project? An unannounced project is coming. They're already in works on the Sweden and their main Denmark office. Warner Brothers is going to be back to publish them once again. That's a nice sign. Something obviously is pretty cool in the works, and I'm anxious and can't wait to see what they have.
So in a recent interview with VG247, the heads behind Red Dead Online were kind of asked a few questions about if they're going to be adding anything to the single player story, what's coming on for online, and what they've basically come out and said is that their focus right now is 100% on Red Dead Online. So anybody that's interested in that single player story they've got going on, it's still there, it's still amazing, it's still great, but their focus right now is solely on Red Dead Online. And with all the new content updates and the new drops that they've just recently had with the Frontier update adding the 3 new classes, they're really focusing on expanding on things like that, and they're really hoping that it's going to bring people that play that single player into that Red Dead Online world so they can keep continually servicing this online, support service that we've got. And I think it's just going to be a really good move for them to focus on this because it's really what everybody's playing now. There's a good story in the online. It's obviously not as in-depth as the single player story, but it's allowing you to continue on and have new things and move forward in the online world. And I think if they continually support it, this one's just going to hit huge. Bigger than GTA 5, bigger than any online thing that Rockstar Games has got going on right now.
The Division 2 is about to get a whole lot bigger after October 15th with the release of Episode 2, The Pentagon, The Last Castle. Episode 2 brings a lot of changes, and one of them is 2 new main missions. The first of which is the Pentagon, which will bring players in to capture the Profusion bioreactor. The second is the DARPA Research Labs. After October 15th, Year 1 pass holders and Uplay Plus subscribers will instantly unlock a new specialization, the Technician. Year 1 pass holders and Uplay Plus subscribers will also unlock the classified assignments Marina and Embassy. New to this DLC is a PvP mode. Team Elimination will now be joining the game. With the new game mode, there was also the new map, The Wharf. Unfortunately, with this announcement also comes some bad news. They've announced that they're going to push back the second raid, but they're doing that for the quality of the game, and they want to see all those players ready to play. Now, until then, we do have this DLC drop, Episode 2.
Plan. No time to prepare. We hit today, or we lose this fight tomorrow. Time is running out.
All right, guys, we're here with Leroy. We're at the Ubisoft Montreal headquarters, and we're just doing a quick little interview. You're game director here.
Yes.
And just kind of want to ask you, in a daily kind of setup, what's your day-to-day like here?
I play a lot of Siege.
Yeah.
Things that every time, every day, basically what I do is that I review all the prototype that we are working on that is going to constitute the content of a season. So new operator, new balancing patch, new rework and stuff like that. So a lot of time playing Siege, playing the future of Siege.
Okay, right on. So I'm going to get right into it. Who's your favorite operator when you're playing?
So as of today, it's always the same answer. I know it's a bit boring, but I love Mira. To me, like by far my most favorite operator. Yes, even after 2 years of release.
You know what? You always kind of get stuck with a couple. I've got a few myself. I'm a big Rook guy, big Buck guy. Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's just that's the way it goes. But Siege didn't always start out as Siege. Originally, it was coming out as Rainbow Six Patriots. What prompted that change?
But the thing is that I think at that time the team was struggling to find, the correct how to position themselves in this overcrowded, shooter FPS market, and it comes from the vision from Xavier Marquis that was really like inspired by MOBA. And wanted to, make a change and really take what MOBA bring to the multiplayer genre and try to build a modern FPS with a learning of what MOBA had changed to the multiplayer experience. And this is really when it started to click and that this vision of, okay, maybe we should focus on the multiplayer post-MOBA FPS game, basically.
Yeah, okay, right on. So, I mean, you got to be a busy guy around here. So, do you have a team of people that help you when you're kind of developing and coming through? So, how large is that team?
Alors, right now, I work with a team of designers. There is around 6 or 7 designers working with me, and each of them have different topic. Like some are working on operator. So, as we speak, we are already working on the year 5 season 2 operator. So, you see what I mean? How far ahead we are?
Be ahead of the game,
exactly.
Right?
I have also designer working on what we call playlists. That means they handle all the matchmaking system, all the events that we are now releasing in every season. I have designer working on a weapon, what we call the 3C controller, character, camera. So each one has their specialty, and as a group, we are working together and we are trying to ensure the cohesion of the game.
Okay, that's awesome. I can imagine how busy you guys can be, especially with a game like this.
Yes.
I played this game right from launch, and we all still play it almost religiously. So it's a great game.
Thank you.
Yeah, no,
it's
an awesome game, and what you guys have managed to do with it and bring it into the esports world as well, which is fantastic. But actually, I got a bigger question for you. Is we know there's a Siege Battle Pass coming. Could you kind of maybe give us any info on that?
Yeah, for us it was like we wanted to bring even more reward to the player, and also find a way to unveil the lore of this game, because you will see a lot of things are going to happen in the near future about the lore of Siege that we are going to explain. What are those operators? Why are they kind of training against each other, in which purpose. We introduce the character of Harry, and we're going to unveil more about the story of Harry and everything that is behind. And we felt like the battle pass was because we don't want to affect the core gameplay experience of Ranked. So we wanted to find another kind of channel to bring the story of Siege inside the game.
Okay, so when the Battle Pass gets implemented, is it going to change anything you guys have as far as the Ubisoft store and any of the kind of Uplay Club challenges that are already in the game? Are you guys going to be moving any of that stuff around?
No, so far we want to keep that because we know it's
just going to be the Battle Pass on top of that.
Exactly.
Okay, right on. Just take a more quick one here. Okay, and I'm just going to touch on future programs.
No problem.
Okay. Are you good, Steve? Yeah. All right, so as far as future projects, I know you probably can't give me too much info, but you got anything exciting coming up?
But the thing is that, you know, like, you mean the only future project is Siege. So yes, of course, there's a lot of exciting things coming up. Like the season 4 is going to be incredible, probably the best season we ever released.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, but the thing that will be like, let's say the zenith, like, you know, like the paroxysm of this game will be the next SI, because this is what we call like the convergence, and you will understand why. And don't miss it, because it's gonna be the biggest SI ever, both in terms of, you know, like what is going to happen at the SI, but also what we're going to release, and the, you know, the year 5 planning inside, man.
That's awesome. You know, we're all excited here. Thanks so much, Leroy.
Thanks,
I
man.
appreciate it. Awesome.
Thank you.
In this review, I'm putting my art skills to the test and doing some graffiti. Alright, I had the pleasure of jumping into Sony PlayStation's exclusive title, Concrete Genie by Pixel Opus. This is a throwback title, kind of a feely, when PlayStation was doing these experimental games and kind of bringing you quirky and weird genres that you didn't really see or get on the platform. It's nice to see this come back on the system and be here for the PlayStation 4, because Pixel Opus has made an incredible game with Concrete Genie, and the fact that you play as Ash, the main character, who was sent out into the world, and the world has been in disarray for so long, and everybody is suffering from a sense of depression, and you get this woe in the city that you're in because it's so gloomy. And the idea is, as Ash, an artist, which really related back to myself, I felt this connection with the game, and Ash is sitting there, he's sketching, and all of a sudden he's hit by these bullies who then tears his sketch pad apart, and then these pages float throughout the world, and you're out to go capture back your pages and then paint up the town with all this graffiti work.
Nice choice.
So once you've captured all your sketch pages and put them back into your book, the idea then is to take these drawings and put them up on the walls using the graffiti. Now it comes with what I thought was a bit of a gimmick at first. They have the ability to use that 6-axis when you're a controller, and a lot of the times these things are gimmicky and you don't really know if they are part of the world or part of the game that really fits. And when I saw that this is suddenly a motion controlled game as well, I wasn't really feeling it until I got used to the controls. It's pretty simple to move up and down, and that's how the graffiti wand works in a sense. You have this magical paintbrush, and that allows you to graffiti all over all the walls and stuff, bringing you lights, the horizon, grass, whatever you want to put on there is at your fingertips. Now, it's not exactly whatever you want to put on, it's what we're in the sketch pad pages that were ripped out and tossed about the world. That's kind of limiting in a sense, but at the same time, it matches the flow of the game. And the whole art style of the game is this Tim Burton inspired-esque kind of feel, and it is fantastic. The art style itself kind of pulled me in, and then the ability to have this graffiti art up on the walls, and then you're bringing the life back into the world, but then the bullies interact with you every once in a while, and that's kind of one of those cool aspects, is the feeling of the bullies and why they're there and why are they such a bully.
B, why didn't you stop him? B, okay?
Man, that must have been rough for Beatrice. I guess I forget how lucky I am with my own parents.
Now the bullies are something I touched on briefly, and then that's kind of a sense of what's actually happening in the real world. And I don't want to spoil anything what's going on with these bullies, but when they interact with yourself as Ash and they get a hold of your paintbrush, it starts to give you the lowdown on what's going on and why they are the bully. It still doesn't give them the right to be a bully, but it shows you a little insight to their family life and what's happened and what makes them kind of turn and be that way.
That's what you wanted, right?
One of the cool features in the game is the ability to go in with VR and use the wands to do the graffiti. They call it the VR experience, and ultimately, that's all it is just an experience. It doesn't allow you to play the full game in VR, which would have been an absolute blast to play this whole graffiti art platforming game, because that's there in the main campaign, but the VR experience is just a VR experience. It allows you to go into a 3D world and how you can then bring up the grass or some flowers or some trees or whatever the graffiti might be, or you can go onto a 2D platform and go into the world and then kind of graffiti the walls, but it doesn't let you play the whole campaign. That, I think, would have been the highlight right there, is to play this whole game in VR. That would have been an experience.
That's better.
So obviously the main focus of the game is using the graffiti and bringing in these monsters to create and help brighten up and bring the world back to its full vitality. But there is a bit of platforming, which kind of caught me by surprise. A little platforming with some parkour work is kind of cool. The ability to go along the rooftops and then swing down is kind of neat. It's a nice little addition to the game I wasn't quite expecting. Overall, my time with Concrete Genie has been an absolute blast. Probably on one of my top 10 games of the year so far. Concrete Genie, for me, is getting a 9. Subscribe to never miss a video, and help us by hitting that like button. Concrete Genie is an artistic inspiration to the industry. A beautiful graffiti palette of creations with a touching story is all that I needed to really enjoy this title. The 6-axis turned out to be better than I thought it was going to be after a bit of practice. The VR experience really could have made this game something truly special if you were able to play the campaign in VR or non-VR. However, the VR experience is just that, an experience that is enjoyable, but not very long-lasting.
I just got my Oculus and I'm in VR. This one's a standout. Standout VR. So I'm new to Oculus. There's a lot of games to check out. I kind of took a look through the catalog and one definitely stood out. Now this one's called Standout. It's a battle royale game and it's on VR. Now, sounds a little messy, but it's a little bit smaller scale, and I think they kind of have something here. So you jump into this game just like any other battle royale. You load in right off the menu. You can pick single, duo, squad. You can just drop in right off the airplane, and it's kind of a smaller island in a military kind of setting.
Yes. Everyone get off my airplane.
A little bit more empty than kind of other battle royale games that you've played before, but that being said, it is VR, and the idea is that it runs smooth for everybody, so that's kind of the focus here. Now, I played many games, and I think there's some PCs going on. So sometimes you're in the game and you get shot from out of nowhere, and it's suspiciously good. It's because that was a CPU. Now, there are other instances where the games get full, or at least more full, and they turn off the CPUs. I wasn't finding any in these scenarios. When there was a lot of people talking on the bus right before the game, you kind of know that game's packed. You get on the ground and the combat is just as packed as the other battle royale games you've played. So there's a proximity voice thing that happens, and everybody with the VR headset kind of has this mic built in, and they have their speakers playing the audio, And whenever you get close enough to somebody, you can hear their voice coming in from a distance. So it's got this proximity mic, and I think that's perfect, especially for VR, especially for Battle Royale games. They could not leave it out, and it kind of made this game because I'm brand new in VR, my brand new Oculus. I jump into this game and I'm just having the greatest time with these people. There was one moment where I dropped my rifle, and me and this other guy are scrambling over the ground trying to grab this rifle, and we're just laughing hysterically to each other. Like, it became a very kind of, we set the game aside for a minute to laugh about how hilarious this instance was. And you run into a room and you see a guy with a gun, you just grab all the ammo off the table and put it to your body. That's an interesting thing to note, that you have all these spaces on your body. I think there's 8 of them. It's kind of unclear because it gets a little jumbled when you're all packed with things, but you can grab ammo, guns, and just stick them to your body. So that's how they did the inventory system. And I can't think of anything that would ever work better than that, because I know that if I find my sniper rifle, I just put that on my back and it's right where I left it. If I take my pistol, I can put that up on my chest, I can put that down here. It's very customizable that way. And that was awesome because I have different kind of ammos, different magazines, and different classes of weapon. Sometimes I just went with many different weapons already preloaded, and I found a lot of success with that. Now, this game is kind of detail-oriented, where you have to pick up the gun with your hand. Then you have the trigger, obviously, right? But your other hand, you have to put the clip in, you have to pull the slide back, lock it. If there's already a bullet in there, you can just drop the mag, put a mag in. So it's all kind of scaled off of how it should work in real life, and it requires a little bit of knowledge about these guns. If you have a P90, the slide handle's way at the top. If you have a G3, it's at the top of the barrel. So that kind of thing was all accurate, and that really, really got me into the game. So the control scheme was definitely a precedent for these people. They had to nail this VR control, and I feel like they pretty much got it right. Now, there's some things where you can kind of climb a wall and you hold a button to kind of grip your hand to that wall. I thought that worked out really well. The only thing it kind of went off on and it didn't quite feel good about was when you get on a vehicle. Now, I wasn't quite sure how they were going to work that into it, but you kind of just stand in the square of the vehicle and use your thumbstick and a trigger to drive. That way you can kind of keep one hand open for shooting. I don't know if anybody's doing those kind of advanced maneuvers yet, but I'll be trying it on the lobbies. Now, they've thought about the controls a lot, and they kind of want you to get the motion right. I guess there's a lot of people that are still having this motion sickness wave as soon as they jump into that VR, and personally, I'm not affected by it that much. So I'm not the best judge for these kind of different maneuvers, but they have a couple options for you. You can wave your hands up and down as if you're running, and that will propel you forward. You can choose an option where I believe it tracks the head, head up and down bobbing motion, and that'll move you forward. I thought that was going to be a little bit weird, and I wanted to keep my hands free for all of that, so I just used the thumbstick, and that kind of just moves like a normal controller. Wherever you're aiming is your front, and I felt that was way more natural to kind of move around the map with. But the map, a little bit plain. There's kind of empty spaces, there's kind of empty buildings and kind of desks that are not quite furnished. You know, it's kind of an empty open arena. But I am in a virtual reality game, so I give it that one. That was not such a big deal. Now the audio, other than the proximity mic, you don't hear too much other than just gunshots. There's kind of an open air sound. You get the ambient sounds of an environment, but the gunshots were pretty good. The way you can hear the kind of direction of the bullet travel, the different crack at a different distance, that all was very natural and it worked out really well. All in all, I had a really good time with this game. I can't hide that. This is a VR Battle Royale game, and I knew it was going to be a little clippy, a little bit unpolished, but I feel like they really nailed this one, and just with a bigger population, this game and this genre in VR could definitely get only bigger. So I have to give this one a 7.5 out of 10.
Standout VR Battle Royale is a solid entry in the genre for VR. It can only get better as the population increases.
All right, so I'm here joined with Adam Kleiman, who is the esports manager at Montreal Ubisoft for Canada-wide, you're telling me.
That is correct, taking care of all the programs we have for the Canada market.
So what's that entail? Because there's obviously Rainbow Six is your main focus, but there's also others. We're going to have some esports. I know For Honor kind of dabbled in a bit of esports stuff. We got other titles coming, Adam, or is it just mostly Rainbow?
You know, we're always looking for great esport experiences. For sure, Rainbow Six is our bread and butter for Canada. We have the Canada Nationals going on right now, so we're really excited to bring that to the market.
Yeah.
But of course, you have other great titles like Brawlhalla, for example, which we really like to continue building out. So, you know, there are a few fun surprises that I think our fans will be able to see in the near future that we definitely want to explore.
Fantastic. Now, you just mentioned the Canadian Nationals for Rainbow Six. What's the difference between last year's program versus this year's program?
Well, last year was a tremendous experience to us. We had a great time with it. Having Team Canada win again was a great success story for those guys. We really wanted to make it even bigger and better this year, so we chose to partner with EGLX, which is one of the premier gaming shows you have in Canada.
Yep.
We really wanted to make sure that we had a great venue for the finals, which are happening October 18, 19, and 20 at EGLX in Toronto. But furthermore, we really wanted to up our production values. We wanted to make sure that everything from the design of it to the league structure was just bigger and better. And we've learned from what our fans really wanted to see and created just an overall better experience. So we opened it up to new teams, fresh faces, and a whole new look and feel that so far the community has really loved.
That's fantastic. Now, esports has just been on the rise over the past few years. Where do you see the future of esports heading?
In Canada, it's going nowhere but up. We know we have a hungry market. There are a lot of great fans who are really on board with wanting to see more great esports action, and a lot of Canadians and fans who also want to get involved and play themselves. So we're really seeing this just as a great opportunity to continue to grow it.
Fantastic. Do you have any advice for anybody looking to get into the esports program?
Definitely. We're going to have a lot of programs coming up, but first and foremost, definitely get out there, practice as much as you can, and we're going to showcase new ways that we can get players involved, both part of the Canada-wide program, as well as some of the grassroots initiatives that we have as part of our Ubisoft Fam series.
Okay. Now, as esports manager for Rainbow Six, there's got to be a favorite operator?
You bet there is, and I'm going to say this, I'm terrible at the game.
Well,
I'm not winning any competitions, but truthfully, my favorite has always been Valkyrie.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Tossing up those cameras. Eh?
Yeah, that's
it. Nice. So let's back it up a little bit. Where you initially come from, and how did you land into Ubisoft here?
For sure. So I've been with the company probably about 10 years now. Started off my career really in marketing overall. I was working with retail marketing and shopper marketing. And as such, the position grew, and over time, they had this opportunity to take over esports, and I saw it as a great opportunity to get involved, try something new. And I've always been an event guy. I've always loved being part of the communities and going to these large shows, and here was my chance to really grow that. So it's exciting to actually see it come to life.
Nice. Do you have a favorite team right now in the Canadian Nationals?
I think all of them are performing really well.
I knew you were going to do that.
Of course, and it's you have Team Canada, they're such strong players, but we already have a couple of teams that I'd love to see really, give them a good, strong challenge as we get into the finals.
Fantastic. Anything else you want to touch on before we go?
Honestly, we're having a great time putting forth the Rainbow Six Canada Nationals. We hope all the viewers will tune in and check out the action, and if you can come see us in Toronto, please come do so.
Is that going to be live also on Twitch?
It's going to be live on Twitch, YouTube, all our major channels.
Fantastic. And of course, over at InsideTheGame.ca. Thanks a lot, Adam.
Thank you.
Cory, I don't know about you, but I'm almost at my breaking point.
Can a ghost take on the lone wolf? Maybe. Tracking, analyzing, stalking, patiently, tirelessly. But there is no place for the weak and the wounded here. We are wolves.
Cory, Ubisoft just launched Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and you and I have dove in hard, man. We jumped out, launched our parachute this time.
Yeah.
Because we didn't the first time. I did. You didn't. I didn't realize.
I didn't have one yet.
I didn't know you didn't have a parachute, man.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I took my life in my own hands. I jumped out of the helicopter and was like, oh yeah, don't have a parachute. So paid for that one.
Yeah, sure did. But we are back in with Breakpoint now with a parachute, and what do you think?
Oh man, you know what? This game, the games I play, I didn't get into Wildlands very much. The Division just, it wasn't for me.
No, it
so
wasn't
coming
either.
into this, we got to play a little bit of early access, a little beta,
Yeah.
and I did enjoy it, but I just didn't know if it's something I could stick with. But let me tell you, now that I'm in it,
You're stuck.
I am stuck.
Yeah.
This game is a lot of fun.
It's a ton of fun, but where it shines the most is when you're playing with your buddies. And dude, you, me, Scott, Steve.
We got Steve in on it,
We
yeah.
got Steve in it. We're all together every night. Yo, you guys down for breakpoint?
Yeah.
Yep, let's go. And that's the way to roll this game. I played, at this point, I'm 32 hours in. 32, 33 hours
Yeah.
in. I am at gear level 103, so
Nice.
I'm
You're
grinding.
getting there.
I'm
You're
there,
getting there.
right? So I've sunk my time in to know the ins and outs of this game. There is a moment when you play solo and it gets you through the game, but it's not near as fun when you're playing with your crew.
Yeah, it's
But-
just that multiplayer co-op aspect really enhances this one.
There's certain missions, though, that are geared towards that. Before, when you were playing Wildlands, you had 3 other buddies
Yeah,
with
you always
right?
had them with
you.
you.
Had AI to help you out. So when I get a go hijack this truck mission, or go do this, and it requires teammates, and I'm in solo,
Yeah.
it takes away from the game.
Oof. You have to be. It's not that it's impossible to do.
I've done it,
You have to be
but-
prepared to take significantly longer amount of time to complete that task. And for
Yeah.
some people, that might be okay. They might want to do it solo, or might, invite that challenge.
Yeah.
But there's just something about hitting those sync shots with your teammates that is just way more satisfying when you do it with somebody else, opposed to just doing it with your drone.
Yeah, absolutely. Besides the main part of being a focus on co-op, that's really where they shine this year. Is that they took Wildlands and what everybody liked with the co-op, and they kind of enhanced it and made it a real focus this time for Breakpoint. But the story, man, the story is so good, and we all know what's going on with Walker. Walker's the bad guy.
Yeah.
You played the DLC in Wildlands. You were teammates. Now you get in here, and all of a sudden Walker's turn. And you're going, whoa, what's going on?
And he's wreaking havoc.
Man, he's making a mess of things, and he's brought in the wolves, and the wolves are no joke.
Yeah, like you run into the regular NPC guys all over the map,
they're dead.
but when you see that squad of wolves walking around with a drone, you approach it differently in this game, because if they turn on you and they start coming after you, it's a lot more difficult to get rid of those guys than it is just anybody else in this game.
Absolutely, because if you set the alarm off, or you get picked off by a drone, so man, these drones, you'll be out just walking around, going from one point to the next point, and all of a sudden you can hear a helicopter, or you can hear that drone flying overhead, and if you get spotted, all hell breaks loose, and then like these guys are on top of you.
They swarm you.
And I don't know how many times I've died just because the minute I hear, I'm on the ground, and I kind of find this, I get why they've done this, that the island's been taken over by Walker and the wolves, and then there's this force out there now that you have to watch. And
they're essentially patrolling the entire island all the time, non-stop. And I know where you're going.
Yeah.
It feels like we're dropping every 5 minutes to hide.
Exactly.
And it's kind of breaking up the game flow. You know what I mean? Like we may be moving from objective to objective. If you're on the ground, you always have to be aware of being spotted, whether it's by, patrols walking around, or it's a drone in the air, or a helicopter coming through, or a plane flying by. You've got to be aware of all of it, but it does feel like it kind of takes away from, you moving forward in this game.
the easiest way to go around Wildlands was a helicopter, and that's no different here in Breakpoint.
It's a huge map.
It is so big.
Huge map.
It's so big. We are on one side of the map, and the other day our objective was like 15 kilometers away. And we were like, okay, I'm gonna fly over there, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go grab a drink.
I'm riding in the helicopter. That's a 5-minute trip.
But what they have also done, if you've made it to that part of the island and you set up these save points or these checkpoints, they're bivouacs. So it allows you to go in, and when you teleport, you fast travel to these points, and then I hit a click of a button, and you guys, boom, instantly teleport, and you join us.
And we're right there. And you know what?
So cool.
They're
What a
all
great
over
idea.
the map too.
Yes.
And for this game, you need that fast travel aspect, because you know what? When you're 100 hours into this game, the last thing I want to do is hop in a helicopter and fly for 5 minutes to a place I've been to before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's having those bivouacs there. It makes it just that much nicer to travel around this huge map.
It is so big. It is gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Corey, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, we've had a great time with this game, but there
Yes.
are some things we need to address.
Ooh, you want to go first or you want to let me do it?
You know what? I'm going to let you fly with this one because I know you've got a few good ones.
I've got huge issues. I am blown away. Honestly, the game needs 6 more months of polish because this game is borderline broken. Because I got texture clipping, I've got buildings that are clipping. It's not just
you've
when
had some really weird stuff going on.
I'm on an Xbox One X. It's not like I've got the OG Xbox.
Like
at this
me,
point.
that's what I've got.
Exactly.
And I've noticed cutscene kind of chugging through some of these cinematics. And, you know, I'm like, okay, I'll chalk it up to the Xbox because you guys don't seem to be having the same problems.
Oh, man.
But it's happening.
So the other night I'm out there and I'm droning areas, okay? And as I'm droning the zone, because that's what I want to do, is I want to see what are wolves out here or just regular NPCs or like the enemies?
Yeah, who are you dealing with?
So I'm zoning out the area and I'm droning away, and I'm on this one point. I come in and there's a shell of a building, okay? And then I zoom in a little bit further. All of a sudden, poof, there's the building, and I went, huh? And I went back out and went, there's the shell again. And I went back in and went, poof, there's the building. Man, dude, you never saw any of this in Wildlands.
And you shouldn't have it in this game.
Okay, so the first hour of the game, you are hit with a few cutscenes.
Yeah.
It's natural. This is how the story progresses and gets you into the game. Okay, so then why am I in the first hour getting the last end of an audio getting completely clipped out? There'd be a full conversation, which none of the lips match the conversation.
No, you know what? That bugged me. Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is
it's like really?
Not even close.
Yeah.
The sync is not even close at most of it.
Yeah.
Half the times you're at the main. Help me out here. What's the main place? The main big.
It's like Eurowan or.
That's it.
Yeah, something like that.
So you're there.
Erewhon.
You want to go to Erewhon and you want to talk to Mads, okay?
Yeah.
So Mads is the guy who helps you out with all these faction missions and some of the story and everything else.
Cool character in the game.
Sure, but it's cool when you walk into his partner in his space there and he's got a green dot or a dot of his icon and no Mads. And all of a sudden you walk there and you're like, where's my guy?
Where is
and then,
he?
Poof, there he is. I'm like, this is in a static area within the game.
It never changes.
The guy is always there.
Yeah.
So why does he suddenly just pop in? Again, that was audio. The audio thing for me was I was blown away to the fact that when they're in a cut scene, it is a cut scene. This thing is finished, polished, should be done.
Yeah, there's no changing to it.
No, nothing, right? It's not like I'm suddenly moving or interacting somehow. And I lose the last 4 or 5 words of that cutscene. The voiceover just completely disappears.
Mine would chunk in the middle of the cutscene. I'd lose parts of the audio during the cutscene. I mean, without the subtitles, I probably wouldn't be able to understand what's going on.
It's so irritating. And I just, because I come from Wildlands where I've sunk
you've sunk so much time into that game, it's unbelievable.
I love Ghost Recon, I love Breakpoint, and I love Wildlands. So I'm here to compare both now at this point because I'm 150 hours in over at Wildlands, and I'm just at the 32.
You'll be cruising up to that number soon enough,
I'll be
though,
hitting
really
that
playing this
without
game.
a doubt. But at the same time, I'm going, man, if someone who hasn't played Ghost Recon starts this, and this is what they see within the first hour, you get audio clipping, you're getting texture clipping, you're getting characters that are just disappearing in and out of nowhere. A whole building just shows up, and I'm just like, people are going to bail on the game.
Good.
No, so I'm definitely a little concerned about that. We talked about a bit of this, a bit of that. I want to talk about some of the things they've added into Breakpoint that weren't there for Wildlands. And this now, Breakpoint for me, Ghost Recon Breakpoint is turned into a looter shooter.
Yeah. Loot aplenty.
Wow, like phenomenal looter shooter. I am constantly getting new gear
all the time,
upgrading this, swapping out a gun. I will go into maybe play for an hour, 2 hours, and I switch that gun. Like, so you can carry 2 heavies, 2 mains, and your pistol. So I'm swapping those out probably, I want to say, half a dozen times, if not more, within those hour to 2 hours. And I'm leveling up probably about 10 gear levels too.
Yeah,
so
the progression is fast. Yeah, you don't.
Great.
Like, it is a grind, it is. But it doesn't make you feel like it. Like, I hop in, I can play for an hour, and I'm already up, 10, 12 gear levels. It's like, okay, well, I'm making progress fairly fast in this, so you kind of stick with it, and that's what keeps you going.
For the first time ever, Ghost Recon is bringing a raid, but you have to be level 50. Level 150.
Yeah,
150. Level 150. And part of me is a little concerned that, okay, you got me. I'll grind to that 150, no problem. I saw a behemoth today. It was level 220. I was like, man, I ain't messing with this thing. I'm out of here. I know it'll just destroy me, right? But for the raid to be at 150, I'm a little concerned that a lot of people, are going to encounter all these issues I've already mentioned. and they're going to bounce on the game.
They're not
going to
make it to that point.
They'll be 20 hours in, and then they'll be gone.
Yeah.
Right? So at this point, for 100 gear level, I'm 30 hours in. So I've got maybe another 10, 15, maybe 20 hours yet to go to
get
hit that 150.
150. They should have made it 100.
Exactly. I think they made it a little bit too far and too much to get everybody in. They should have went with maybe, I'm thinking, about a 100.
Yep.
Give us a mini raid. Oh, okay, now I get how it works in this system. Oh, cool, this raid is cool. Boom, now I want to get to that 200 mark.
Exactly.
Right? Now let's really get grinding and then progress because it is so big, there's so much to do.
Yeah.
If you do everything, you are going to hit 200, no problem.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like, I'm already almost 50 level for gear.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've put about 12 hours into the game. So, and it feels like, I don't feel like it took forever to get to that point. I mean, I'm at 50, I'm like, all right, feeling pretty good. Like, we're cruising through this game, getting things done, and it feels good to have that type of progression. But yeah, just 150 seems like a stretch.
It does.
Especially if it starts slowing down after 100. Those last 50 levels are going to feel way longer than the first 100.
Exactly. So I'm thinking I'm still in for another 20 hours yet before I hit that 150. So this is going to put me around 50 to 60 hours to hit 150. Let's be honest, most people nowadays never finish a video game.
No.
So no one's going to stick around for 150 hours. Not no one, but a lot of people are going to leave that.
Don't have as much time to, you know, commit to playing a game that requires over 100 plus hours.
This new game is out. That new game is out, and they're just going to leave, right? So that's a concern for me. What I did appreciate what they're doing this time, though, is they bring in these factions, and these faction missions allow you to get battle rewards.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is something that's new. So instead of paying for what we all know as a battle pass,
yeah, which has become very popular over the last year.
Very popular, even coming to Rainbow Six now. But they've gone away and said, here, we're going to give you a battle pass for free.
Which is awesome.
So you go out and you help Mads and you help others do these faction missions that allow you to get gear points to go towards this stuff, and it rewards you with stuff you can only get there. So face paint, camo gear, weapon skins.
Yeah, it's exclusive just to that, and it's available for free, which almost seems kind of ridiculous. And I'm wondering if there's going to be some sort of microtransaction thrown in there at some point if this is successful. You never know.
Sure.
But I will take free as long as I can get it. So
yeah, and this is the first iteration of this, and they said they're going to keep it coming. So man, I was pretty excited to see. All in all, Cory, I think we've had our highs and our lows with breakpoint.
Yeah, we got to get back to playing it right now, so we should score this one.
Yeah, let's score it up. What are you going to give this one?
You know what? Right off the bat, because we got early access with this game, we've kind of seen this game in development and where it's come and where we're at with it now. And obviously, me, you, and Scott, the guys have enjoyed playing this game.
Yeah.
There are some outstanding issues that I'm really hoping get ironed out because it will enhance that gameplay, you know, that much more. But overall, I had a blast playing this one. I'm going to give it a solid 8.
Okay, I'm a little bit lower because I've come from Wildlands where I saw the polish. So I have high expectations. I played the closed beta, I played the open beta, and I knew the progression moving forward, right? But I can't deny the amount of technical issues to me that just shouldn't be there. As far as I'm concerned, there's no excuse for audio clipping.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be there. It is a cutscene. That should be done. So for me, 7.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint is a great squad-based stealth shooter that allows you and up to 3 friends to team up as ghosts to defeat the wolves and other enemy forces occupying the island. That's definitely where this one shines in the multiplayer, but it's not without its dull spots. Audio clipping and cutscenes made some almost unwatchable. Some of the cosmetics appeared one color, but when applied turned out to be another, which was really frustrating. Overall, Breakpoint feels like the game we all want it to be, but the early goings have been rough. Hopefully future updates will help propel this game to where it really was expected to be.
Who are you?
I was invited. Who the hell are you?
Another one.
Scott, you and I are going to run through the towers. You and I jumped in on our Oculus, because you now have an Oculus as well.
Oh, I joined the club.
Welcome to the VR family, my friend, because we jumped into the Tower 2. What'd you think of this Oculus VR parkour first person
so
running kind of.
Exciting trailer. I was into the concept and the idea,
Sure.
but the game and the trailer and
completely
the kind of
different.
concept and what you see is
so different.
Quite
so
a little different. Yeah. So where do I start with this one?
Slow.
So we'll go with the motions of it. So the motions of this game, it's a parkour game, but how they gauge that is that your hands have to hit certain spots throughout the track, and you're also on a rail track. So you're being kind of thrust through this obstacle course, and that's the parkour element. Now, I found in the campaign that was much more spaced out, and it was far more boring than...
It was so boring because the story of it is basically that you're trying to escape the city.
Yeah, escape this crazy neon city.
Yeah, which is, okay, cool. That sounds like a cool idea. But then to escape the city, you then stand on rails.
Mm-hmm.
And stand on rails.
And you stand on rails.
I'm still standing, and then you go up.
And then sometimes there's like a cheerleader section where you gotta put your right hand red, blue hand here.
Shoot at a robot?
Shoot at the robot. Those were the interesting parts that got me kind of back in. I was like, okay, all right, here we go.
Sure,
and then I look at my watch, my in-game watch, and it's been like 20 minutes. I mean, I'm in this world for 20 minutes now, and it's a parkour rail thing, so I'm starting to get Guitar Hero vision, where everything's kind of streaking past me, and that was a feeling I haven't felt in a long time.
Really? It was going that fast? Because it wasn't going that fast for me. I was just standing there looking.
I was pushing the stick, trying to get that horsepower out of it, but it just wasn't there. So that was kind of a letdown. But then you look at the game, I put it down, I came back. The VR parkour was definitely where this game shines.
Exactly.
So I feel like they kind of shoehorned in a story mode to kind of make it make sense, but they really didn't need to. It's a parkour game, and that's kind of what I thought I was getting. So the parkour element of it, much more fun. There's about maybe 2 minutes, 4 minute kind of tracks that you go along through, and there's several of them already there. And I feel like there's a hint towards more coming out, or some kind of maybe community mods will bring more maps. But that's where it got competitive. So you see the leaderboards and everybody else's score. You try and go through, again, holding the stick forward so you go extra fast. And
it's like your speed boost, but even then I didn't feel like it was going that fast at times.
No.
Like, I'm running, man. I know I can run faster than this.
It was very underwhelming for a speed kind of game. I was kind of expecting to run through this really fast obstacle, but it was more or less a memory game of, well, after this wall, I need my hands over here. And then I need my hands over here.
Turn this way and duck that block.
Duck the other way, come off of a weird jump and duck the block right after. So that kind of thing was a lot more interesting and a lot more of a trial kind of game, because you run through it, you mess up, you beat my score, I went back, I tried to beat it, I couldn't do it, I don't know how you did that. Now it's a competitive kind of Beat Saber plus Guitar Hero. That's kind of the feeling I was getting.
It's the feel of, okay, I got the better score, so that is the grind then for you to get back into the game is, okay, my buddy beat me, I want to go beat him, and it's this competitive back and forth. But again, the actual feeling of the game to me didn't feel like parkour. I didn't feel this sense of me running off on top of buildings and rooftops and jumping here, jumping there, because you just essentially stand in one spot. And then it'll sometimes sidestep you over, but even then, it doesn't.
It's just another lane. You're just changing lanes. It's very geometric. It was not organic like parkour kind of should be, and that's where it was really weird. Now, I did have some problems with the actual controls of it.
I was getting there.
Yeah, there's especially one of those, I believe it's called the Speedway, one of those parkour levels. So hard. You have to go off a jump, grab a gun out of the air, and then shoot to clear the way for yourself. And then shoot to clear the next way, and then get the window, and then duck the thing. It was so there's the difficulty that I wanted, but I can't grab the gun out of the air reliably every time. And when I can, I shoot that, but I miss the rail that I have to grab afterwards. So it was just this kind of weird setup of action after action that did not flow very well at all. And that's the whole thing about parkour is flow of motion.
It's the speed, the flow. It has a movement to it that's just very organic, like you said, right? Where this is so on rails, and it's just one directional. And then to turn, even when you turn, so you just kind of knock the stick to the left or the right, and you move in like quarter increments. But to me, even that just felt so disjointed from what I feel like
Very
it should
disoriented,
be.
yeah.
So then you got these speed runs and you go down and it swoops you up, right? So and I go up and it's got this bar, and every time I go for the bar, I just fall.
Yeah, you just
I don't
miss
grab
that
the
bar.
bar. I'm
Those
like,
bars.
my hand is there to grab the bar. Why isn't it grabbing the bar? And I'm just getting mad to the point where I took my headset off and almost threw it on the ground. Like I almost went, whoa, hey, easy. And then I set it down and I walked away.
Yeah, no, you just got to put that
I was
down.
so mad. I got mad at this game, and I don't like doing that. But I was getting so frustrated playing because the controls weren't lining up the way I feel they should be. The motion, the fluidity of how parkour works just wasn't there.
And now I was also running into a problem where I was running out of space. So as much as you stay still, sometimes it kind of leans you around corners, and I think that's where I took a step out of my track towards where the track would be. So it made sense to me, but what I'm doing over time is I'm slowly moving into the wall as the game's going on. And then it wants me to take a big step left and dodge a wall, and I almost took my TV out. So I made contact with my TV, I came back to the real world, and I found the center of the room, which the game knows where the center of the room is too.
Yeah.
It makes you reset that when you fall off. It makes you go to the center. So some kind of warning before, you know, it knows I'm gonna take 3-foot step to the right.
Yeah.
Maybe it should just show me where the grid is, that it's only actually a foot and a half.
So there are as you go down this rail, there'll be like a cliff, and you jump down to the next part of it.
Oh yeah.
But I don't move, right? I don't move whatsoever.
And you missed the.
And I missed where it's supposed to land. I'm like, I haven't even moved. How do I miss this thing? Because I didn't move.
No.
Not 1 foot out of place, and I'm still not landing where I'm like, this is just. You gotta fix the alignment because it doesn't make any sense.
Now it's just a memory game, and that's kind of taking me out of this.
So as I'm
speed element,
like dropping off, I'm kind of just like leaning over to kind of so it kind of catches the headset and down. I'm just like, man, this is weird.
And I found there was a very tiny box for getting around the walls as they come at you, and not going too far to fall off the track. I was getting that a lot.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kind of cool atmospheric things to the story. There's a lot of really kind of cool elements of the movement and stuff, but they just didn't quite nail it, and that was
it's a little empty
disappointing.
For me. Yeah. All in all, I'm kind of falling off the tower. Scott, what are you going to wrap up and score this one?
Yeah, so for me, I was really excited about this game.
Yeah,
I jumped in. Maybe I had my expectations a little too high, and after that half-hour story, I was just burnt out, but kind of saw where this game was going. Didn't quite make the mark. I have to give this one a 5.5. It was disappointing.
You know what? I can't disagree with you. I'm right there with you. You're so close, but yeah, it's just something, everything's just kind of not quite there and disconnected. So 5.5.
The Tower 2 had a great concept, but a poor execution. Wonky controls and long boring rail parts were really its demise.
Alright, so I'm back with the Rainbow Six Siege Canadian Nationals 2019 Stage 2 Week 4 coverage. The last week before the finals that will be held at EGLX on October 19th to the 20th. We have two teams that have made their way up to the final part of Stage 2. Here's a little breakdown of how the season looked in case this is your first time tuning in. So heading into the matchup, we have Team Yes up against Livid Gaming. It was a really good matchup with Livid Gaming being the underdogs in this case, but still a really great, recognizable team. Livid Gaming is basically Honor Gaming from last year who competed in the Rainbow Six Canadian Nationals, with most of them comprising of their roster. Honor Gaming did well last year, so it's always nice seeing the guys back at it again and making it this far. In this case tonight, Darkin is back replacing Nivek. Nivek covered for him in their last game, so is making this roster change a good thing? Nivek did extremely well in their last matchup. But I'd say in this case, and in most cases, it's most likely a good thing because you do typically want your starters playing in these very important games. Team Yes is a squad comprised of elite players. A lot of aggression is showed when these guys come out to play, and it's always really exciting. They have some of the best fraggers in the Canadian Nationals, which really makes or breaks a game. We got Misio back on the roster, which again, kind of like I just mentioned, has some kind of good with some bad. We'll have to check how these roster changes worked out for both these teams. So heading into the first map, we have Livid picking border and Team Yes attacking, which isn't a surprise from either of these teams as they both excel on this map. The operator bands were a little out of the ordinary, with Thatcher, Mira, Echo, and Blackbeard being chosen. Blackbeard is the only really odd choice, as he's not the most useful in most cases on this map, but not completely offside. But right away, Romulus on Livid Gaming came out swinging in the first round with a nice triple kill, winning them the round. But Team Yes wasn't having any of that, as they came crushing back and won 3 rounds in a row, setting the momentum basically for the rest of this map. Snuggling on Team Yes was a real all-star all around in this map, making lots of key plays and points in this game. And then all at the same time, Livid Gaming made so many poor operator decisions, mostly with Mustache being castle for almost the entirety of them defending. Livid Gaming kept being too aggressive, and it wouldn't work out as they lost 7-4. Map 2 was Bank with Livid Gaming attacking. The bans were standard with Thatcher, Nomad, Mira, and Echo all being chosen. And honestly, let's get right into it because the match was very one-sided at the start, with Team Yes blowing through Livid Gaming. Livid Gaming again making some very poor operator decisions, with choosing all 3 heavy breachers at the same time more than once. I'm not sure if in any case you need all 3 heavy breachers. Even 2 isn't optimal in most cases, but anyways, they tried and failed, being down 5-1 in the first half. Although being so heavily in Team Yes's favor, Livid Gaming came back and it looked a lot more organized. Livid Gaming pushed back, almost bringing it to overtime, losing 7-5, going down to the very last intense moment. It was one for the books and almost one of the biggest comebacks in Rainbow Six Siege history. Let's close this off with the remainder of the highlights.
Cory, there's another episode in the books. Now each and every week, we end this show off with a highlighted clip. Who do we have this week?
This week we got Fear, and let's throw it over to a PUBG clip, and it's an unreal one.
Nice, let's check it out.